Guys, just got back from my ride on the Ibis Mojo 4. This is a new bike for 2020 for Ibis, and man, it's an all new bike. It's replaced the Mojo 3. It's a 27.5 wheel size, kind of a mid-travel 130 mil travel bike. And you know, I've been spending so much time on 29ers, and every time I go out riding, I see so many people riding 29ers. It's just like, you don't see a lot of 27.5 bikes anymore. And it was really good to get back on this one. It's just so much fun. I want to do a quick comparison to the previous Mojo 3 that Ibis had, that this bike replaced. And man, I love that bike. It was such a snappy, fun, lively bike. You didn't worry about if you were going as fast as you possibly could. It was just a fun bike, right? And this Mojo 4 has that same playful characteristic, but it's kind of like all grown up now, right? It's got a little bit more deep suspension feel. It feels like it's got more traction, just you know, more suspension. Even though it's a similar bike, the bike's a little longer now. It's kind of got that long, low slack that everyone's been doing the last year and a half, 2 years or so. And man, it's just a really, really unique, fun bike that I haven't spent a lot of time on bikes like this recently. So it was a lot of fun to get off the 29ers, give those a break for the last 3 or 4 weeks as I've been riding this bike, and just really get back to that smaller, more playful wheel size. I'll tell you right away, this bike shipped. This is like the full XT group. I think it's like their $5,700 build. I'll have a link in the description below this video down to Ibis's information on this bike. But when I first picked this bike up from Salt Cycles here in Sandy, Utah, it came with Assegai front and rear EXO Plus tires, really heavy tires. They're like over 1,000 grams. And the first 2 rides were with those Assegai tires, and it really just kind of bogged this bike down a little bit. And so I was a little disappointed. I swapped out the tires. So for this review, I had a DHR, Maxxis DHR 2 on the front, and a Aggressor on the back, which are a little bit lighter weight, faster rolling tire than the Assegais that came on it. And I'll just mention real quick, I picked this bike up from Salt Cycles, but I really want to mention in Utah County, if you live in Utah County, in Lehigh, we've got Utah Mountain Biking. Mike is the shop owner there. He's an Ibis dealer. Go in and see him. He'll take excellent care of you. And of course, like always, Salt Cycles for Salt Lake County people. You know, Chris and Jason up there have Ibis in stock, and Mojo 4s in stock, and go and talk to them if you're looking for a new bike. And thanks to both of them for supporting the channel, and I just want to do a shout out to them. It's the end of the season here, and both those bike shops do so much to support me, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, so I swapped out the tires and got right back out on the trail. The suspension was quick and easy to set up. The bike still has a really lively feeling. You know, for those of you who don't follow the channel, I've owned and ridden an Ibis Ripley, which is a kind of similar bike to this, but 29-inch wheels, a short travel 29er. And I would say that this just has a little bit more pop to it, a little bit more fun factor to it. It also feels, oddly enough, it has a real planted feel in the suspension. I think the suspension is more progressive than that of what the Ripley has. And, you know, I ended up riding a lot of different trails on this because oftentimes on these reviews, I only have the bike for 3 or 4 days. But this bike I've had for a month now. And I got a chance to ride all over Utah on different trails, more high-speed trails, more difficult trails that had a lot more sketchy terrain. And I want to talk kind of about the different areas of riding real quick, and let's start with climbing. So climbing on this bike back to back between this and the Ripley, it doesn't climb quite as well as the Ripley, but it climbs really well. It climbs good enough to go ride all day long. It's a light enough bike that you could go do a lot of long, you know, 3, 4, 5 hour rides, no problem. I wouldn't be replacing my Ripley necessarily with this just because my Ripley climbs so well. But in terms of kind of a mid-travel 27.5 bike, it climbs as well as any of the other bikes I've ridden in recent memory. Descending, really playful, easy to move around on the trail, but it's not going to give you the same confidence that even only a 120 millimeter bike like my Ibis Ripley will give you. It doesn't give you that confidence because you can feel that rear wheel getting hung up a little bit. The front wheel kind of gets wheel trapped in some really janky stuff. Again, that's a function of the wheel size. I hate to compare it to the Ripley, but you know, people out there shopping might consider this or the Ripley in their next purchase. And I think that just the Ripley shines a little bit more in almost every area, sadly, than the Mojo 4. But fun factor, that's something that you have to consider. It's just not how a bike climbs or how fast it descends. The fun factor on this bike is off the charts. It's just zippy. It's just fun to get back. I mean, I've spent so much time on 29ers in the last year or two. It's just so fun to get back and really spend a lot of time riding multiple days in a row on a short travel bike. And at first, you're looking down at that small 27.5 wheel out in front of you and you're like, you're worried. It's almost, it doesn't give you quite as much confidence, but you get back to it, you get used to it, and it just feels really fun. It was just fun factor can't be beat on this bike. Really playful, easy to maneuver on. It's more maneuverable than the Ripley or any other bike I've ridden in recent memory. Very maneuverable, easy to move around on the trail on. I just really like it. I'm a little bit shorter. I'm 5'8", riding a size medium Mojo 4, and you know, at 5'8" on the really steep stuff or more difficult terrain, I actually prefer that smaller wheel, the 27.5 wheel out back. Because when I get off the back of the bike to go down some really steep stuff, I've just got that much more distance between my bum and my tire. And that gives you more confidence and makes you feel a little bit more in control down steeper sections of trail. So if you're on the shorter side like I am at 5'8", then you might find that the 27.5 wheel size gives you more confidence. It is more fun, I think, but it might give you more confidence too, and you might be faster down some really difficult sections of trails that you ride often. So that gets us into the next question is, who's this bike for? And I think it's for someone who doesn't take themselves too serious. They're not all about their Strava times, or they're not a racer. They just want to go out and have a good time. They're not concerned as much about every little minute detail of a mountain bike. And honestly, I think that's probably a healthier way. It's probably a healthier way to get out and ride anyway. Just to go out and have fun. This might be the most fun bike I've ridden all year. It still has a very deep progressive feeling into the suspension, which Ibis is not traditionally known for. It normally has this really linear feel, but it's kind of nice to have that. Even on some really bigger drops and jankier trails, it gave me a lot of confidence. So that this bike is for someone who rides everything, is only gonna own one bike and wants something to do it all. This is a short travel, 130 mil, 27.5 bike that can go out and do everything. I'm super impressed with it. I think it's a good looking bike. It comes in this kind of a creamy white color, I guess. I wouldn't call it white, I don't know. And then a dark blue color. Both are very good looking in person. This is well spec'd for $5,700, and again, I'll link that down below. There's also a link to Competitive Cyclists, where if you want to go and purchase this bike and you're not going to buy it locally from one of the shops I've already mentioned, you can click on the links and purchase this bike from Competitive Cyclists. There's also other links in the description below to Competitive Cyclists with direct links to the helmet that I wear, these warm gloves that I wear. It's winter time. It's almost November now in 2020. It's getting very cold outside, and anyway, it's links to the glasses that I wear, all the clothes, the outfits I wear, shoes, everything to Competitive Cyclists. Anything that you purchase using those links directly goes to support me and what I'm doing here on this channel. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I make sure I don't get sponsored. That way these reviews can remain unbiased. If I've got people giving me all my helmets and clothes and bikes and everything, I then have a bias then in my reviews, and I just definitely don't want to let that in. However, clicking those links really goes a long way to supporting me and what I'm doing here on the channel. So if you have some mountain biking shopping to do, start using the links below. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Any questions that you have, put in the comment section down below and we'll talk about it. I loved riding this bike, you know, 65.5 degree head tube angle, 76.5 degree seat tube angle, really good geometry. That's the type of geometry I'm looking for in a do everything trail bike. And very short chain stays on this bike too, 425 millimeter short chain stays. It makes the bike feel real snappy and quick. Climbs well, descends just fine. For a guy that doesn't take himself too serious, this is an excellent option to be considering in your next bike. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.